No, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Guys, welcome to the Hold On To Your Butts bonus episode for the Power Rangers
SpoilerCast.
Warning.
Big warning, guys. Big upfront warning. We are going to absolutely spoil the movie Power Rangers.
We're going to spoil the shit out of it.
For anyone who hasn't seen it, we're going to discuss our favorite parts of the movies, what we liked, what we didn't like, and discuss what we think they could do for a sequel. I think will be a big part of it. But, guys, we're so glad you joined us for today's bonus episode of Hold On To Your Butts.
Countdown.
3. Guys, this is where you need to turn it off. Literally, unless you want to keep listening to it, because we'll take all the listeners we can get. But honestly, we don't want to spoil the movie for you. We will be talking about it in depth, so please turn this off. You have 10 seconds. In 10, 9,
8,
7,
6,
5,
4.5,
3 and 2 quarters,
2, 1. And 1.
Okay.
I can't believe all the Power Rangers.
Fuck the Ninja Turtles.
Fuck the Ninja Turtles.
That was so crazy.
I wasn't expecting it.
It was out.
I wasn't expecting it.
Raphael and Kimberly. Woo!
Ooh.
Woo!
Woo.
I'm sure there's an actual porno out there.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna start us off here, and I'm gonna say honestly, I fucking loved this.
So
movie.
what would you rate it out of 10?
Well, we can do that.
Should we start there? I don't know.
Let's start there or in there.
Let's start there.
Let's start there. Go ahead.
Let's start there, and then we'll defend our scores. So I can honestly say I go on a 5-scale rating.
Oh, 5 scale.
5-scale rating.
So
I will say
we're
out
only doing
of
5 or only out of 5.
Out of 5, I give it a 3.5, and
Okay.
like a solid 3.5. And so here's always kind of like my issue, right, with like superhero movies versus like good movies. You know what I mean when I say that, like movies that can be quote unquote considered for Oscars, or movies that are like dramatic in tone and have
Basically
like very
Logan.
deep themes. And then you compare that to movies like the Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, or whatever, where it's just like fun action.
Entertainment.
You just go there to sit down, eat some popcorn, and have fun, and that's exactly what
Drink
this
a
movie
beer.
was. And so, like, to me, a 3.5 for that movie is almost as good as you can get.
Yeah, I
like,
would say so. Yeah.
I would say, like, if almost merits being broken out into a totally different genre and totally different ranking system. But since we're not doing that, I'll say this is a 3.5. But for like an action movie, like that's pretty solid. The only action movie for me that ever eclipsed 3.5 was The Dark Knight, which I gave a 5.
Easily.
Because it had a little more substance. But I wasn't expecting, nor did I want this movie to have substance. I wanted this movie to be fun, and I wanted to see teenagers with attitude getting giant robots and beat the shit out of monsters.
At a Rita.
And that's what happened. And I thought it was great. So I will say, yeah, why don't we just keep it like light here and give like a brief synopsis like I just did in a score,
Right.
and then we'll
all right,
go
I'm
around.
up.
Yeah.
Lev is up. So I would give it probably a 3 to 3.5, just like you, Brogan. Like I felt like the way they provided some backstory to the actual characters was awesome, because it's like when you watch the TV show as a 4 or 5-year-old, you know, like it's just, oh my god, it's crazy going on. There's people fighting, whatever. But like you don't really learn. I didn't learn a lot about the character besides their name or their backstory. So the way they did some character building with the actual Power Rangers was nice. It was a nice touch. And I would say the first half of the movie grabbed your attention right away. And once they finally got to the point of morphing, that was awesome. But I don't know, like the fighting was all right, but I felt like it was sort of semi-cheesy. But out of that, it's a 3 for me to 3.5.
Why?
I do a 7 to 19 scale.
Cool. Yeah, makes sense.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, it have to be the odd one out, right?
I would give it a 4 out of 5. If we're doing a 5 scale, I would give it a 4 out of 5. I thought I do have a couple complaints, but not a lot. I think it's set out to do exactly what it meant to be. It was meant to entertain those who either grew up watching it or who loves just action movies, and to be entertained and are not looking for a new The Departed or Gangs of New York, some of these like really amazing type of stories and stuff, in-depth thing. They're looking for entertainment. They're looking for somewhat of substance and people to entertain. Yes, you're a nostalgia, but I honestly believe if you didn't know anything about the Power Rangers, I think you would
learned
love
a
this.
lot.
You would love this movie. The only people I didn't think it tailored to were people like 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds that like, oh, I love seeing the Ninja Turtles. That was nonstop action. You got to see big green monsters the entire time. This movie really didn't get it. It was kind of started off with the whole movie that was them learning to morph. So there was a lot of dialogue. It was a lot of soul searching. And I don't think little kids would enjoy that.
Yeah.
I think, 17, 18, 16-year-olds and higher would enjoy this movie. But young kids, I don't think it's for them. But I don't think it intended to be. But they did get to see giant robots fucking fight a monster at the end. I mean, that's why I give it a 4 out of 5. And am I biased? But I'm biased because I do love the Ninja.
Oh, wow.
Careful.
Almost a slip there.
I do love the Power Rangers, but I also am pretty hard on critiquing these type of movies. I grew up I love watching Power Rangers. I love watching Ninja Turtles. So I'm actually pretty a hard critic. I'm a harder critic on those type of movies. Transformers, I destroy that.
That is true. I would say, honestly, of all of my friends, you're the hardest critic on movies, and especially things that are near and dear to your heart. So the fact that you're giving this such a high score, I think, says a lot.
Yeah, and I felt that going in. I asked my brother what he thought of it. He's like, I thought he was going to say I hated it. And he was like, the movie was exactly what I wanted it to be. And he was like, and I was like, so you liked it? He's like, I loved it. It's exactly what I wanted. And I was like, that's exactly what I was thinking. So,
I feel the same way. I couldn't be happier with this movie. So one of the things that I liked the most about this movie, and I want to get into this a little bit, is that I feel like, and Wyatt, I know we had texted a little bit about this, and Blev, I want to get your thoughts on this. I felt like they did a really good job of making the teenagers relatable. Mm-hmm. So, like, the problems that the teenagers were having
were common,
and they weren't just like
I didn't make it to the luau. Luau this weekend, and I was late.
I didn't make it to the luau, and Bobby was going to be there.
Yeah, that's what the 90s
It was like Kimberly was helping spread like a naked picture of a girl in high school, and we had literally a similar scenario in high school.
Trini was gay.
Trini was gay and was afraid to tell his parents.
I blew my mind. I love that. I thought
that was so cool.
Like, I thought
they did a great job of that.
Even like Billy too. Billy being a social outcast at school, and
he had clearly
Asperger's
or
something. I don't know what he had, but it's they made the characters so relatable to even like teenagers right now and younger kids and even our age range, But I think there's a peak at where it can't extend past that, because I was talking to people where I work, and they're all. I'm not gonna say that sounds really bad when I'm like, but they're